opened up preseason camp. The boys all showed up bright and early this morning for breakfast, and then we had our annual fitness tests. Overall, very pleased with the level of fitness that the guys came back. And then we went out to the field and had our first field session, and so far, we ended the session better than it started, so we're very pleased so far.
Mix again this year of kind of returning guys and newcomers. How does that mix help? How does that mix hurt?
You know, last year we had the youngest team that I had at Binghamton, and this year it's a little bit. We've got some great opportunities for some players. I thought the returning group has come back smiles and a little bigger and stronger than they left in May. But it does present some challenges for us. We need to spend a little bit more time on teaching who we are, how we do things. You know, we've got 13 new players who really don't know where anything is yet, let alone where the soccer fields are. And I see our returning group helping that out.
Is there one area that you feel like you guys are further along, whether it's in defensive backfield there or if it's in midfield, based on what you guys did in the spring and just coming back?
Well, I thought that in the spring, our goalkeeper position is an area that we really need to make sure that we're growing in that area. And Chris Hayen has come back fitter than he was last year. He was pretty fit last year. So I think that that's an area that perhaps will be a little bit better than we were last year. And Jake Keegan has come back in tremendous form. So I see at both ends of the field we look pretty good. And our returning players, they look hungrier than ever. It's going to be our new players and how many of those guys can we get to contribute right away that will help us.
The season that Keegan has had away from Binghamton has been very productive. How does that carry over his level of play in the summer into the fall?
Well, I think whenever players are playing, one of the things that contributes to their successes is their confidence. And Jake's had a tremendous summer. His confidence is flying high. We saw that this morning in the session, and I'm expecting great things from him this year.
You said it was just your first practice, and so you haven't had a lot of time to see how this group will mix with these newcomers. What's that process like?
I think it's one of the most enjoyable parts of the job. Bringing the team together for preseason, it doesn't get any better. We're not in any classes, so it's like a professional environment. It's just soccer, and we're focused on it for most of the day. We arrive at 8 o'clock and we go home around 8 o'clock at night. I think that that's also a time where the team starts to bond. They start to come together on the field and off the field. So it's just a great time.
And of course you haven't had a lot of time to see them on the field, but from the limited time that you have, are you excited about any of these guys? Or?
I'm always cautiously optimistic. I think we could be really good this year. But knowing the young-mindedness of the team, we're going to have to learn how to compete a little bit harder. I think that might be something we came out of the first session with thinking, yeah, they don't really know what a Bearcat is yet. We need to compete a little bit harder.
Tommy Moon's freshman season was great. What did you like? What did you think he did well? And what can he improve on to be even better this year?
Well, Tommy, again, was one of those players who we sent away. He actually traveled to Des Moines, Iowa this past summer to play, where one of our former players, Danilo, had won a PDL championship. So we had an opportunity. You know, Tommy's a local boy. We needed to get him out of town and into an environment where he was going to be challenged a little bit, not just on the field, but just challenged in life a little bit more than he was here. And he's had a tremendous summer. The coaching staff there really loved him. He grew a lot as a player and as a person. I think he's a guy today that showed tremendous energy in the session. He brought the energy that we need out of players today because he made players around him better.
Is that relatively new, or have you been sending guys to summer programs since you've been here?
No, we've been sending them on. You know, it's tricky because summer sometimes is a time for rest, recovery, and family time. And I don't want to take that away from the boys, but if they want to go away to play, we'll help them in any way that we can. I think we had 7 or 8 players play this summer in PDL teams.
Do you feel like after freshman year is a key time to do something like that for a player like Moon, where I've heard in other sports where college coaches will say the biggest leap you're going to make is after that freshman year, once you have the experience? Do you feel like it's a pivotal time?
No, I think that I understand why some coaches might think that. I think that it's really a choice, and I think that players can choose to grow as much as they can in any given year. So if they focus a little bit more because they see a level and now they understand it a little bit more, I can see how you might say that after their freshman year they'll grow and jump leaps and bounds. Players after their sophomore and even after their junior years grow leaps and bounds. And I think it's just a choice. How hard do they want something and how much are they willing to give to get it?
Coach, what are the differences between coming into a season with a young team and having versus a veteran team? What do you do differently during preseason here?
Well, I think for the coaching staff, we get to teach a little bit more. It's more time of starting from a very basic level. In fact, our meeting here shortly will be talking about the field and what the field actually looks like and what we do, where we do on the field. And with a returning group, you kind of they already know those things, so we don't have to start that basic. But I'm looking forward to it. It's a great time for the staff. It's a great time for our older players to kind of show the new players how we do it. And so far, they've been doing a great job, and the new guys have followed, which they should.
Further questions?
How different is Ryan Walters' role now, or is it fairly similar? Has he been kind of a vocal, outspoken leader of this group already?
Ryan's one of our few that he'll be a returning captain, and we've had only a few captains at Binghamton since I've been here, and that's because we only have one. We have a great leadership group, but really one guy wears the band. And Ryan, from what I've seen already today, differently than maybe even last spring, is I watched him put his arm around a couple of guys this morning, where maybe in the past he was all about making sure that he was great. Now not only is he taking care of himself, but he's watching the team too.
You made it really deep into the American East tournament last year. What do you? I don't know exactly what I'm trying to ask, but this year, when these guys come back, do you sense any sort of hunger from the returning guys to really just make it that extra step?
Every year that we come into preseason camp, we come in with a notion that we'll be playing for a championship. And I think if there comes a year where I don't think we can play for that, I might have to reassess what we did recruiting and how the team was in the spring. But every year we come in, we're playing for championships. And I don't think this is any different. No matter how many new players we have, we're still trying to play for championships.
Further questions?